Hey guys, so just wanted to do a little video. Um, Definitely just talking about my makeup. It's just a random ass video, but like talking about what I am and am not comfortable in when it comes to my makeup. Like I've been wearing black lipstick for like 4.5 years now, and I'm just talking about like the transition of what happened and like why I started wearing makeup because I talked about this a little bit on the old page, the old channel, but like what happened with the makeup and where I am now and what I'm noticing with certain colors and certain things. So like when I was growing up, my mom kept telling me, well, not kept, but like it's something she told me frequently enough that I remember her, distinctly remember her saying it. Like she always used to tell me when I was little, like 6, 8, through my teen years. She didn't say it too much in my teen years, but she said it when I was little, like a little girl, like before I hit 10, 11. She used to tell me when I was just a little girl that I was going to be really pretty when I hit my 30s. And again, that's debatable if you think I am or not. You know, everybody has their type and their taste and all like that and blah, blah, blah. But she never, not pretty. She said I would be attractive because there's a difference between attractive and pretty. But she said I had, because I put this black shit on my eyebrows so they look a little different. So just saying that to bear in mind for what I'm about to say. But she said that I had nice arched eyebrows and I had a duck lip, and that it was really attractive at that age, and that she felt like I was really going to come into my looks when I hit my 30s. And I don't know why she said that, but I guess it's just one of those things you learn in life that you tend to physically mature. You hit your peak when you're in your early to mid 30s, and I'm 34 now. And I noticed that I started to become attractive, like I was always attractive according to my mom and other people and stuff like that. But like I became more attractive in my mid 20s because you go through that awkward phase when you're a teenager where you're just gangly and your face looks weird. Like I've noticed that with a lot of pretty little girls that they go to this very awkward phase when they're in the teen years. Like they could be the most prettiest. Like I had a friend when I used to work at Hardee's when I was a teenager who had these two little girls. She had two little girls and a little boy, and they were all closely in the same age range, and they were like maybe 7 or 8 when we were friends. And we used to go over to the girl's house all the time. The women I used to work with, who were all in a friend group. And me and my husband, we were teenagers. So we were like 16, 17, 18, hanging out with her. And she was in her early 30s, or late 20s, like 29, 30, 31, something like that. And she had the most beautiful two little girls. They were so beautiful. And I was like, I remember saying to her, they're gonna be so beautiful when they grow up. And she was like, oh, thanks, they're not beautiful now. And I remember laughing. I was like, that's not what I mean. I just mean when they grow up, they're gonna be like extremely beautiful because they're already very beautiful now. But I saw pictures of them now as teenagers and they look so awkward. Like they're not pretty right now, but I know they're going to be very pretty when they get a little bit older and their awkwardness fades away and they grow into their bodies a little bit more. So I feel like I went through an awkward stage when I was a teenager. I feel like I look awkward. I didn't, because I look back at pictures and I look fine, but like I felt awkward. Like I was very scrawny. I was only 115 pounds. Then I went through the stage where I had anorexia, so I was 104 pounds, and I was just looking bad. I was sickly. My bones were sticking out. I just looked bad. Um, so up until I hit, I'm gonna say 20 years old, when me and my husband broke up when I was 19. I moved back home when I was 19, and then I moved back to the same apartment complex me and my husband had stayed in when I was 20. And it was shitty as fuck because I remember I got another apartment that was the same as that layout on the inside as the apartment me and my husband had shared. It was just in a different apartment building in the same complex as where we lived before. So it wasn't the same exact apartment. It was just built the same way on the inside. And it was frustrating to me because it just brought back a lot of memories of me and my husband and shit like that. And I was really hoping when I moved back there, I would get a different layout on the inside, so it would be just like a fresh start. And it just felt like I was in the same exact position and all that shit. But when I was living there, this is what happened because I was just starting to develop schizoaffective disorder. So my biggest problem with schizoaffective disorder is audible hallucinations, but they're not like in the spaces around me. So it's not like someone's talking to me in the kitchen and I'm in the living room and I hear it outside of me. It's all inside my head. So I hear shit in my head that feels directional in my head. So like it feels like it's coming from the top right side of my head or from the back of my head. Like I don't there's no way to describe it. Like that's just where the sound feels like it's coming from in relation to my ears inside my head. Um so it sounds like it's coming from behind me, but it's in my head. It doesn't feel like it's coming from behind me in the room. Like I don't know how else to describe it. It's like if your inner voice could talk but move around your head, but it's other people's voices. So this relates to Michelle, the girl I talked about on the old channel. The girl I just made the post about her boyfriend. Just her ex boyfriend just texted me asking me for money 2 days ago. But Michelle, I I still feel like she's very beautiful, but I don't find her attractive anymore because of her personality. So it's one of those things where you can be super beautiful, but nobody's attracted to you because of the way you act and the way you treat people. Like she has a terrible attitude. She's very racist, and she may not even be aware that she's racist. But and it's weird because she's like Native American, white, and black or brown, African American, and she's like refuses to get out of the way of white people when she's walking on the sidewalk. She'll literally run into them before she will move. And she's like, they can see me, they can go around me. Why should I always have to move out of the way? And like she does that, but she only does it to white people. And she's like, she's very racist. But like Michelle looks like, and I don't know if you like the way Angelina Jolie looks, but Michelle looks like Angelina Jolie if she didn't have all the angles on her face and her body. So I always thought Angelina Jolie was extremely gorgeous, but I feel like she's too bony and she's too skinny. So if she had more curves on her, she would be even more pretty. But Michelle has like, you know, when people smile and they have the little creases right here. I think that makes for the prettiest smile when people have the little smile lines. Like I don't have it. I have almost have one that connects over here, but when they have little smile lines right here, I think it's so pretty. So she has like Jolie's face does that when she smiles. She has those full looking cheeks and then the little smile lines down here. So instead of having that sharp jawline, she has a soft angel baby face. But she's not fat, so it's not like fat like the way my shit looks. But like it's not a round face like a moon face either. She has an angular face, Michelle does, but it's not sharp like Angelina Jolie. So it's very shapely. I don't know how else to describe it, but she has like a very symmetrical, shapely, half angular, half soft, very nice face. And she's got like Angelina Jolie lips, almost exactly looks like Angelina Jolie's lips from the side profile, from the front profile. She's got these full eyes, these like hooded lids, but with like a lot of lid space. And she's got these nice thick ass eyebrows. She's a hairy ass girl, but like she's got these thick ass eyebrows and these long ass eyelashes. They are so thick and long. And like she's got a cute little nose, and like she's light skinned, but she's like that shade of golden that like white girls try to tan to. So like she's like the perfect shade, because like you see some mixed girls and they're light skinned, but it's not necessarily a pretty shade of light skin. It's just light skin. And then you have some that are so light skin, it's like a white pale, but she's like golden, like my eyeshadow, but darker. kind of like this cigarette filter is like what her skin tone is. Like she's a perfect shade of gold. And so she's like, she looks like a sun-kissed sunbeam or some shit. And her hair's down her ass. It's thick. It's like wavy. It's jet black. And her shape, like, Jesus, she's like a fucking milkshake. Like, I don't know how to describe it. Like, when I saw her, she said that she met me when, like, me and Chad were friends when I was 19 or 18, and me and Chad were hanging out at his house all the time. But I don't remember meeting her. She said that we were at Chad's house. Me and David were over at Chad's house because me and Chad live next door at the same apartment complex, and we had sliding doors on the apartment complex, and the units were connected in like one big building like apartments are. And we were on a one-story building type of apartment complex, so we would just go from our back door into his back door, through the backyard into his back door, and we just left our back doors unlocked, and we just went into each other's house whenever we wanted to. Like, we were that close. So me and David were over at Chad's house one day, and she said she came in there and met us or something like that. I don't remember meeting her then, but my first time seeing her was when I was 20, that I recall. And I remember walking out of my door, my apartment, the second apartment I had, and going to my car, and she was just standing on the sidewalk. And I just remember she had the most playful look in her eyes. And I was like, I bet a lot of guys fall in love with her, like at first sight or fairly quickly after that, because she had this aura about herself that was just, it's nothing like what she is, but like just the way she seemed at the time. Maybe she was different at the time, maybe her mood was different, or this was before she had kids, so she wasn't abusing her kids, and maybe her spirit was a little bit lighter. I don't know, but she just seemed different then than what I got to know like 3 months, 4 months ago. But this is when we were 20, like we're in our 30s now, and she doesn't seem happy. She's miserably depressed, and she's violent, and she's aggressive, and she's racist, and she's hateful, and she's dealt with a lot of hate from a lot of people who didn't know her, and so she's bitter as well, and she's just not good. But at the time, I just remember thinking, and I did initially think that she was the most beautiful person I had ever seen, woman I had ever seen. Like, she's that level of beautiful. Like I tried not to compare myself to her, but I found myself at 20 years old, I compared myself to her like on a daily basis. And so what happened when I was standing on the sidewalk, because this was the start of my schizoaffective, I had a hallucination of her calling me ugly. And so when I was 20, I had never, like, I was still gothic, and the only makeup I ever wore was like black lipstick and dramatic, like gothic makeup, eyeshadow, and cobwebs and spiderwebs and dramatic shit and clown makeup and like all this gothic shit, which I liked. But at that time, I wasn't wearing any makeup anymore. I had stopped wearing the gothic makeup. I was just wearing gothic clothes. And so I was barefaced and plain, and I had that hallucination, and I did not know I was schizoaffective at the time. I knew that something was off, and that I was feeling really depressed, and I was doing weird shit and feeling compelled to do weird shit, like having command hallucinations telling me to do weird shit, and then I would go do weird shit because I was dealing with OCD, because I have OCD, but like it was schizoaffective plus OCD, so it was like a mixture of, I was like under compulsion to do shit, and I could not do it. So I was like, I knew something was wrong. I didn't know what it was, and I did not know I was having hallucinations. So it's schizoaffective. When you have a hallucination, your brain treats it as though it is real. Like, even when you know you have schizoaffective and you have a audible hallucination like that, it's one of those things where due to the nature of schizoaffective or schizophrenia or any type of disorder of that nature, it's not you, the person, who is confused about whatever the voices are saying or hallucinations you're having or the hallucinations you're seeing. It's your brain treating it as though it's real, because your brain has to process stimulus the only way it knows how. So if your whole life you hear a voice that's attached to a human being or a TV or a radio or some shit, and you're sitting in your car, your radio's playing, you start hearing voices, you're gonna think someone's talking to you through your radio. Like, that's the only way your brain knows how to process it. So your brain treats it that way and convinces you that weird shit is happening, and then you, the person, starts freaking out because you're like, that makes no sense. Why is the government talking to me through the radio? And then you start going into paranoia and, conspiracy theories and all this shit, because like your brain doesn't know what else to do with that audible hallucination but treat it like a very weird event, because it is a weird event, but it doesn't know that it's just itself generating noise for no reason. So when she called me ugly at that time, not knowing that I was schizoaffective, I thought it was really her calling me ugly. And for what it was, I guess, coming out of a really abusive relationship with my boyfriend, who, my husband at the time, who would mock my body. Like, if I was naked, he would mock certain parts of my body, or talk about how this wasn't like another girl's, or how he liked me better at a smaller weight, or all this stuff. Like, I was very self-conscious at that point. I was very fragile at 20 because we had just broken up at 19. And so I was doing a lot of repair work on myself, but hadn't gotten into it very far. And so, looking at what I thought at the time to be the most beautiful person I had ever seen in my life, and she didn't have any makeup on, she didn't have anything dramatic, she was just in jeans and a t-shirt, and had her hair up in this humongous bun, and I could tell because she had a bun similar to this. It looked better than this, but it was wrapped at the base, and it was wrapped like 5 times, and I was like, damn, her hair is long. And I was just amazed when I first saw her. So having that hallucination made me really self-conscious, and so I started wearing makeup, because I was like, when I was 20, I was like, maybe, I said, I'll never be as beautiful as her, but like, some part of me was like, maybe with makeup I can feel as pretty as she looks. So I started wearing makeup to try to make myself look a little bit more attractive. So I started off wearing red lipstick. It was a lipstick that my mom used to wear by Avon, and it was called Cherry Jubilee. And it was like, at the time, the perfect shade of red, but naturally, with me having body dysmorphia and me comparing myself to her so hard, I was like, I'm never gonna look like that. I'm never gonna look like that. And so I remember one time when I went home to when I moved out of that apartment and I went back home to my mom's house, and it was just me. My mom moved out of the house back to her mom's house so that me, my older sister, and my twin sister could have that house to live in. Because it was like a point in our lives where we all ended up like losing our houses and had nowhere to go. So we all moved back home, but it was a 3-bedroom house. So, and it was 4 of us. So instead of, because like when we were growing up as teenagers, like me and my twin sister shared a bedroom. My older sister had her room and my mom had her room. But then my older sister moved out. And so then me and my sister got our own rooms and our mom had a room. But when it was all 4 of us trying to live in the house and we were all adults at that point, my mom moved out so that like me and my sister at 20 years old wouldn't have to share a bedroom. So we all got our own rooms. Mom moved out. And I distinctly remember the only time I've ever been self-conscious about being brown, because like I'm mixed and my family is mixed, because my dad is mixed and my mom is African American, and my sisters are both light skinned, and I'm the only one in the family that got my mom's skin shade, but we're all brown, like all mixed. And the only time I was ever self-conscious about not being light skinned was because I had met Michelle or saw Michelle, and I was like, if I were light skinned, I probably would look super pretty like the way Michelle looks super pretty. And I remember my older sister kind of rubbing it in my face that I was brown and trying to get a reaction out of me, asking me if I felt bad that I wasn't light skinned the way she was. And I was like, I thought about it, but it is what it is. And I remember that was the only time I ever wished that I had been born light skinned like my sisters were. So I had a moment of self consciousness about it, and I've been thought about it since, because I like my skin tone and I'm fine with that. But I did have a moment where I wished I were not brown. Um, so for from 20 until now, I've been playing with makeup, but like it's not for the same reasons these days, or hasn't been since I was like 25. So from 25 to now 34, my reasons for wearing makeup are not the same as they were from 20 to 25. But I think part of the problem that I ran into, which is not the same problem I have now, but is a similar result, I guess, or had a bad, it kind of screwed up my head. But at the same point, at the same time, now it's more like body dysmorphia with the makeup. So from 20 to 25, I got really heavily into makeup, and I don't do it as well now as I used to, but because I don't wear it as frequently, like I used to wear it every day. And it got to the point where, like, I noticed from 20 to 25, like I started coming into my looks a little bit more, and I started playing with makeup and wigs and like fashion and jewelry and all this stuff all at the same time. So I looked really good on most days, and I was dressing really nice. My hair was always done really nice. I was taking care of my natural hair, so it had grown out to like right down here, which doesn't look all that long some in some regards, but sometimes it does. So like I would play with my natural hair, I would wear it out, or I would wear wigs. I always had beautiful makeup on and nice jewelry and nice clothes and all this stuff. And I noticed that I started getting a fuck ton of male attention. And I mean a lot. Like I never left the house without getting asked out, and it would be multiple men in the same day. Like I was getting phone numbers left and right from people. People, even girls, were giving me free coffee and shit. Guys were buying my beer. They were buying my sodas and my coffee, and people were giving me free coffee and like asking me out. And I had a lot of options and all this shit. And I was like slowly developing a an attachment to makeup and a complex that this attention is only because I'm wearing makeup. Like none of it resonated that it was a combination of things. So combination personality, combination makeup, combination appearance, like fashion style, jewelry, clothes, mannerism, like the way you talk to people. You're not hostile when they ask you out. You're not none of that. Like it was a combination of things that were making people interested in me. But my mind thought, because of the hallucination that I had been called ugly, that the only reason they were asking me out is because I looked pretty, and I thought it was simply because of my makeup. So, I developed a complex. And so, like, when I started gaining all the weight and I went from like 129 pounds up to 210, I still got a lot of attention. Like, it never slowed down, it never burned out. I mean, it may have been a different reasoning, because I've heard that there's this thing guys do when it comes to fat women, that they ask them out because they feel like they have a higher chance of getting sex out of them, because they feel like less men are interested in them, and so they're going to be more flattered by the attention. But if all the guys are doing that, then fat women are getting even more attention than even a smaller girl. So, if that's to be true, then, there's that. So the attention didn't slow down at all when I got bigger. But my relationship with makeup got damaging, and it got to the point where I was so reliant on my makeup. I was paranoid to go around guys who had asked me out or who had flirted with me without my makeup on, and I would not. I was like, if I needed to go out for one tiny thing, like I just needed some coffee filters, or I just wanted a pack of cigarettes, or I just wanted an energy drink, I would not leave the house until I did an entire face of makeup, the whole routine. And I don't care if it was 1 o'clock in the morning and I couldn't sleep and I just wanted to go to 7-Eleven to get a pack of cigarettes or a coffee or some shit. I would not leave until I did my whole face of makeup. And it started to wear on me a little bit, because I was like keenly aware of how paranoid I was. But at the same time, it was like I was so attached to feeling beautiful because I thought that the most prettiest girl I'd ever seen had called me ugly, and it really fucked with my self esteem that I didn't want to go do the experience again. So my brain treated it like it was a true experience, and I was like, I don't want anyone calling me ugly, and so I would rather beat myself to death wearing makeup every second of my life and get the attention feeling beautiful, even if it's a fake experience, is what I did. So now, these days, I still have body dysmorphia, but I think the worst thing that happened to me out of all of my schizoaffective hallucinations was just that one. Because prior to 20 years old, I never questioned how I looked. I never thought, and never once had I ever thought that I was attractive, nor did I ever think that I was ugly. I never thought about what I looked like. I mean, I thought about like how I felt based off of what I did to myself, but I never questioned how I looked if I didn't do that. So, it was like if I wanted to do something to make myself feel really good about myself for the day physically, like I would dress as gothic as I could, whether it be with as much gothic makeup as I could, or a red mohawk, or some shit that was dramatic and flashy. But like it wouldn't be like this is the reason people are talking to me, even if it was because it was like someone else that was gothic that I caught their attention or something like that. It was always about like building friendships and building connections when it came to being gothic. Like looking for people who were into the same thing I was into is like that whole community aspect of being gothic. I'm not saying I was dressing gothic to catch goths, but it was like a mutual respect when you do stuff like that, similar to being punk. Like when you find your people, you find people. That's just how it goes. But it wasn't like I'm so goth, I would never let my gothic friends see me not dress goth. Like it was never like that. But with makeup, it was like that. So my number one most painful life altering hallucination was hearing Michelle call me ugly, because now I'm attached to makeup and now I feel unattractive without makeup, and it stuck with me so hard. And so that combined with my body dysmorphia was a really big trigger with my OCD with the body dysmorphia. And I've been dealing with it since I was 20 until now. So it really is just an OCD trigger, more so than schizoaffective, more so than Michelle calling me ugly, more so than anything else I've dealt with. It's just a OCD type of thing that's stuck in my head really, really hard, because it just made me think really hard about what I look like. And again, I had the body dysmorphia because I had the anorexia and stuff like that. But it triggered again. So I've had two really big triggers with my body dysmorphia. One was 14 when I thought I was not as curvy and physically cute and attractive in my breast and butt and hip region as compared to my friends in school. Like they had C cup boobs and like size 9 pants, so their butts were bubble butts, and they had like hourglass shapes, and they looked like mini thick, but like they were slender, like maybe 115, 120 pounds, size 6 feet. They were like tiny, 5'2", 5'1", 5 feet. Like they looked perfect. And I didn't think I had that. I thought I was either super fat or super scrawny. Like it went both ways, because my mom would buy us these oversized clothes from Goodwill and hoodies that came to our halfway down our thighs, and pants that were bundled up around our feet, and shoes that were like a half size. It was size and a half too big. And I'm high waisted, and my t-shirts would be like all the way down past my butt, and she didn't care for us properly when it came to taking care of us physically and with our clothes and stuff like that. Like we looked kind of homeless with the way we were dressed by our mom. And when I say like it was obvious that she was kind of neglectful, like $800 mirrors on the gold mirrors on the wall, and carpets, and these Persian rugs, and these colorful couches, and mirrors on every room, and every room was painted a different color, but it was perfectly matched to the carpet, which was perfectly matched to the curtains, and then there was decoration all over every single room, and it looked just like a home living magazine, like every single room to the T. And she spent thousands and thousands and thousands on fixing up the house, but then she would make us go to Goodwill and get these clothes that were like three sizes too big, and not because we were growing into them. It was just what she always did since we were kids. Like, we never had clothes that fit us, so I thought I was bigger than I was because my clothes were massive. So I never saw my shape. When I would look at myself in the mirror, my clothes were so big, I thought I was big. So I never saw my shape, and I thought I didn't have what my friends had. It was a neutral type of thing where the clothes are huge and draping on you. You can't see your breasts have developed, and your jeans are so huge you can't see the shape of your thighs and your calves and shit. You feel both big and scrawny at the same time. So body dysmorphia like kicks in because like you can't tell what your body looks like, where it feels distorted when you look at it. So I became anorexic, and then again with the OCD, with being called ugly, kicked my OCD in the high drive. It was like, you can't be ugly, like that's unacceptable, so you gotta make yourself feel beautiful all the time. And I'm still dealing with that. So it's to the point now, after all these years of wearing makeup, that makeup doesn't make me feel beautiful anymore. So I do makeup because I feel like logically I know it makes me look a little bit better, even though I don't feel better in it. But at the same time, it's like it's better to me to see color on my face than it is to see me barefaced. And I don't like my bare face at all. Like, sometimes on my social medias, like I'll do videos and shit with myself barefaced, and I look a lot better than I do on my videos on YouTube. Like, those just look rough as fuck, and I know that. But on my social medias, my barefaced pictures and videos look fine. It's just, I have this idea in my head that bareface equals ugly, and I don't want to be ugly because who would? So I tend to wear makeup just to combat that. But I am working on getting used to seeing my bare face more and more because I'm realizing that it is still attractive. It just sometimes it looks unattractive, and that's just how it is. Like, sometimes I'll take a barefaced picture and I'll look rough, or a video and I'll look rough and I'll just look not attractive in any way. And then 5 minutes later, I'll take another one and all my features are showing like properly, and I do look attractive. So like it's a mind fuck to go from looking attractive and then not looking attractive. And I'm like, what do you do to make it stay steady? And then I realized that it's not going to, especially when you have like body dysmorphia and bad days or bad angles, or a phone that makes you look rough no matter what you do, or eyes that just don't work properly, or sometimes red doesn't look really well on me and black makes me look fantastic. Like, it's just the way it is. Like, sometimes this stuff works and sometimes it doesn't. So that's how it is. But like, I just wanted to share that story, and this video is fucking 34 minutes long. But that is my history with makeup, the reason that I started wearing makeup, the reason I probably always wear makeup, and the biggest reason, other than the cultural aspect of West Africans tattooing their lips and me being West African and my biological history. I wanted to do that to just not ever have to see my bare face again, and also do it as part of a tribal cultural thing. Like, my libre plug and my ear stretching are West African traditions that I practice. So yeah, there's that. But yeah, so I just wanted to share the history on that. I am actively working on acknowledging my bare face every day. Sometimes I wear it bare. I put a little lip gloss on. Just a clear lip gloss, just something on my face, because I don't like it looks ashy when I don't have any shine or any Vaseline or something on my mouth. But makeup is makeup. There's nothing wrong with wearing it. If you feel beautiful in makeup, There's nothing wrong with being beautiful every day. Like, if that's what makes you happy, do it. But it shouldn't be a crutch to the point where you feel borderline disabled without it. And so that is what I'm working on, because I just don't like the way I look without makeup. And while that's a fair point, maybe you just don't. Like, I don't know if I'll ever get to the point where I will feel pretty without makeup. I don't know if I ever would have felt pretty without makeup, but I really just want to get to the point where I don't care what I look like without makeup, because that's how I always have been prior to the OCD and the hallucination kicking in. So I guess the goal here would be to calm down the OCD, calm down the anxiety, because it's not like people, everybody who knows me has seen me without my makeup, and I'm not worried about them seeing me without my makeup. I'm worried about how I feel about myself without my makeup. And so if I feel like I'm having a bad day, if I'm walking around without my makeup on, then I'm not going to be interested in doing that, because I don't want to have a bad day. But, with OCD, like, you're going to obsess over it until it's fixed. So I gotta figure out a way to fix the OCD so I can get back to just being myself. Because if I don't feel like I'm never gonna feel like not wearing makeup. Like, I truly love makeup, and especially my black lipstick. Like, it makes me look so much more put together. But at the same time, I know that I just don't like my bare face, and I'm not sure if that's a problem or not. Like, maybe you just don't, but I know that I used to not care. And I also know that from all my pictures, I don't look bad without it. It's just like, should I convince myself to not wear my makeup, or should I just wear my makeup because I enjoy it? Like, I don't know where I should be. If not wearing my makeup brings up negative feelings in me, then maybe I should address that. Is what I'm trying to figure out. So, yeah. But anyway, sorry for the long video. I just wanted to talk about that. And just my history with makeup, my OCD when it comes to makeup, my dislike of my plain face, and what I'm trying to do to fix all that. So I love you guys, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.